Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be looking at 3 players who boosted their draft stock during the March Madness tournament. The 3 players I'm going to be looking at is Caleb Love, Teddy Allen, and also Mark Williams. But before I get into it, please make sure to subscribe because it helps me out a lot. Starting off with Caleb Love, who is a 6'4" guard from North Carolina. During the regular season, he averaged about 16 points per game, but upped it to 18 points per game during the tournament. This isn't a very significant jump in his production, but he had a lot of really good games that stood out. During his games against Duke and UCLA, his ability to score was on full effect, when he led the Tar Heels with 28 points against Duke and 30 points against UCLA. During both of these games, he also came up with some very clutch shots and led North Carolina to a win. And he was also a major reason why they made it that far in the tournament. And with his impressive play during the tournament, his draft stock changed from probably not being drafted to now being considered a mid to late second round pick. Even though he hasn't said yet if he's entering the NBA draft, NBA scouts definitely have their eye on him because he's a super good guard. The first thing that Love is really good at is driving to the basket and finishing at the rim. Since he's super fast, it's easy for him to get past his defender and get to the rim. And at the rim, he has a lot of crafty moves that helps him finish above taller defenders. He also has a super good three-point shot and is not afraid to shoot whatsoever. Like this shot right here when North Carolina is only up by 1 point on Duke and he goes down and nails a 3. And he has a lot of confidence in his shooting ability that he'll be able to hit it every single time. He's not afraid of big moments, and this is really good because it'll help in the NBA one day. And this is something that he already has that not even every NBA player has. One of the weaknesses to his game, though, is how inconsistent he can be. At times, he'll have super good games where he's scoring a bunch and just seems like the best player out on the court. But then there's other games where he'll be playing really bad and he can't seem to make a shot. He had 3 games in the tournament with over 20 points, but also had 2 games where he played not that well. Against Baylor, he finished with only 5 points and had 6 turnovers on the game. And then in the championship game against Kansas, he had 13 points, but he shot only 5 of 24 from the field. He's going to need to work on his consistency to become a really good player, but other than that, he's a super good NBA prospect, and he had a really good tournament. And it will definitely be interesting to see if he enters the draft this year and how he does in the NBA next year if he does so. The next player that I'm looking at is Teddy Allen, a 6'6" guard from New Mexico State. Throughout the year, Allen averaged about 20 points per game, but then upped it to 25 during the tournament. But what was really impressive about his play was his 37-point game against UConn in their first game. Even though he was being heavily guarded, he played amazing and hit so many big buckets. And even the really good defenders from UConn couldn't stop him, and he seemed to make every single shot he took. But what's so unique about his game is he plays at a very slow pace, and he doesn't let his defenders speed him up. He's also not that good of an athlete, but he makes up for it with how skilled he is. And against UConn, he scored from all 3 levels and hit shot after shot. In his team's next game, he only scored 12 points, but a large part of that was because of how heavily guarded he was. He was constantly getting double-teamed by Arkansas, which forced him to have to pass to his open teammates. But he still definitely raised his draft stock and is now being looked at by NBA scouts. The first thing that Teddy Allen does really well is his ability to score from all 3 levels on the court. He has really perfected his three-point shot and his mid-range shot. And when defenders run up to close out, he's able to get by them and finish at the rim. And even though he's not that athletic, he has a lot of really good moves at the rim that are very crafty. And going back to his three-point shot, he's able to shoot from almost anywhere on the court and has super far range. He also shoots very quickly, and at his size, he's not at much risk of being blocked by bigger defenders. Then finally, looking at his mid-range shot, he does a great job of stepping back to create space and being quick at getting his shot up. Overall, he's a super good offensive player and has just about mastered scoring from anywhere on the court. But one of his problems in the NBA could be his defense. He's slower than most guys on the court, so he could have trouble guarding good players in the NBA. And if he's going to want to give valuable minutes in the NBA, he's going to have to get faster and become a better athlete. But with him already having a very polished offensive skill set, all the pieces are there for him to become a good NBA player one day. The last player that I'm looking at is Mark Williams, a 7-foot center that plays for Duke. Williams is a very athletic big that shined during the March Madness tournament. During the regular season, he averaged about 11 points and 7 rebounds, but upped it to 13 points and 8 rebounds during the tournament. These numbers aren't terrific, but he did a lot of things that don't show up on the box score, and he played really well and showed off his athleticism during the tournament. He's also an elite defender and had 3 or more blocks in 4 of their 5 games. He's one of the main reasons why Duke was able to make it as far as they did during the tournament. And after such a great performance in the tournament, he's now considered a mid or late first round pick. He does a lot of things really well at his huge size, but his main strength is his athletic ability. Most 7 feet tall players are nowhere near as athletic as he is. He has a great vertical jump to block shots and also to catch lobs, but he also is super quick on his feet. He's really good at sliding his feet on defense and he's a really good defender. And he's really not a liability when guarding smaller players on the court, like a lot of big center prospects are. His athleticism also shines when he's running the court on fast breaks. Most of the time he's way faster than his defender and he's able to beat them to the other side of the court. Williams is also really good at scoring in the paint and has a lot of different moves that he uses. He's really mastered his hook shot and it's very easy for him to get off because he's so tall. But he also has really good touch around the rim when he posts defenders up and can get above them to score. He also uses his athleticism at the rim to catch lobs and for putback shots off of rebounds. With all that being said, Williams has a lot of potential in the NBA because of his size and how athletic he is. So it'll definitely be interesting to see where he ends up going in the draft and how he does in the NBA next year. Make sure to let me know in the comments what you think about these 3 players' game and how you think they'll do in the NBA. Also, please make sure to subscribe and also like this video, and thank you so much for watching.